but how will all of these overnight cues over the weekend as well impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in with how the trade setup looks like, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the setup on the F&O side as well. It was a good week, last one for the Nifty. We continued to scale new highs every single day for the markets, but Friday the bulls chose to take a bit of a breather, made a new record high though, 26,277, testing levels of 26,300 on the upside, but closed around 100 points off the highs of the day. But yet another day of gains, but that is also because the bulls chose to take a break because of the underperformance of the bank Nifty, and that was declining almost 500 points on Friday after that near 3,000 point rally that we saw over the last 8 to 10 trading sessions, and it closed below the 54,000 mark twice last week. So that should not be a cause of concern ideally, but a key psychological level to watch out for on the Nifty bank. Now, what had happened on Friday's session, it was the banks that dragged the indices lower, but it was Reliance Industries that was batting for the bulls, and there you can see HDFC and ICICI by the two lead contributors to the Nifty gains recently were on the downside on Friday, and it was Reliance and Sun Pharma along with a lot of other pharma names that continued to contribute to the upside. Now, for the week, the Nifty ended 1.5% higher. The outperformer, the Nifty bank, just managed to cling on to some gains for the week after that decline on Friday. Now, so it's an important day today because it's the final trading day of the quarter. It's an important day for two very important names, Trent and Bharat Electronics, because they start trading as Nifty50 constituents today, and it is also the first SEBI board meeting after the latest Hindenburg allegations. So we'll keep an eye out if there are any key takeaways from there. And IPO rush continues. It's the last day of the Diffusion Engineers IPO, subscribed almost 30 times in the first 2 days itself. And of course, it's an important week as well for the markets. Starting tomorrow, we'll start to see quarterly business updates coming in. So that will be an important one. Banks will be the ones to watch out for, and some jobs data coming in from the US as well as towards the later half of the week. And of course, rising geopolitical tensions that should keep an eye out on the markets as well. Then it's the trade setup for the morning. Over to Vinny now, who list out the stocks that you need to watch out for in today's session. Vinny, good morning. What are the stocks on your list?
Good morning. I'm going to start with some of the pharma companies. Let's keep an eye out on Jubilant Pharmova because the US FDA has classified its Canada facility as an official action indicated. Now, this was inspected by the US FDA on around 18th of June. So, yes, maybe some bit of a pressure that we could be seeing on Jubilant Pharmova. Piramal Pharma, that too is going to be in focus. US FDA has issued an EIR for its Ahmedabad facility, and the US FDA had issued a Form 483 with no action indicated certificate for the facility on 12th of July. So important to watch out for that. Welspun Enterprises, they have emerged as an L1 bidder for around 1,900 crores approximately order contract, and this is from the BMC. So watch out for that. Biocon also in focus. The US FDA has issued 4 observations for its facility in Bangalore, and the facility was inspected between 23rd of September to 27th of September. So the importance is going to be in terms of how these observations are panning out, but some bit of a pressure that we could be seeing on Biocon. Reliance Infra in focus. The Calcutta High Court has ruled in favor of the company upholding the 780 crores arbitration award against Damodar Valley Corporation. And lastly, we have Angel One, IIFL Securities, BSC. That's going to be in focus now. NSE and BSC have upped the transaction charges to comply with SEBI circular dated 1st of July 2024. So yes, maybe a bit of a negative for Angel One or something like an IIFL Securities, all these discount brokers, but positive for the exchanges, so keeping an eye out on that.
A host of pharma stocks to keep an eye out for, and these exchange names as well. Vinny, thanks a lot for that. And finally, Mangalam joins in with cues from the F&O space. Mangalam, good morning. The GIFT Nifty pointing to a slightly lower start, but what's the setup looking like at the start of the series?
Well, when has that worried us? You know, a 35-point downtick on the GIFT Nifty itself. But what's interesting is that the frontline indices have been hovering around record highs, making newer highs as well, notwithstanding a few points of decline that we've seen. But the Nifty Bank, has underperformed on Friday's trading session after doing well. The key to track would be, one, the mid-cap index, the market breadth, whether that comes back or not. And secondly, both the external-facing sectors, IT and the metals index. So that's something we'll most definitely keep a track on, especially given the up move that we're seeing in Chinese indices this morning. The FIIs, while they sold in cash market on day 1 of October series to the tune of almost 1,200 crores, remember, there were a bunch of large trades as well. So domestic institutional investors bought about 7,000 odd crores. Importantly, the FIs continue to back themselves in index futures. 1,700 crores is what they bought on in the overall index futures, whereas a large part of that was attributed towards Nifty and not so much towards the Nifty bank itself. They added about 18,000 longs, corrected about 6,700 short contracts. But what's interesting is that even as the FII long exposure has increased even beyond what it was at the start of the October series, the one on the sell side are the props, basically, the clients of brokers, HNIs, etc. Because the FII net exposure is 3.61 lakh contracts on the long side with 81% long exposure. The clients, on the other hand, are 2.49 lakh contracts on the short side with 66% short exposure or only 34% long exposure itself. So let's see who gets it right in the very near term. If you look at just the options which are active, 26,250 call has been pretty active, 26,300 call equally active as well. At the lower level, 26,250 put, which is still in the money, and 26,200 put, both of them equally active too. So what does this table mean for levels on the market? Support coming in at 26,000, 26,100. That's what the options based data is suggesting, and resistance around 26,350 to 26,400 itself. In light of that, the GIFT Nifty indicating a 45-point downtick. Let's see whether we see the supports first or not. A bunch of stocks that I'm watching out for. BPCL, a lot of long positions were added out there, and then we saw some sort of geopolitical uncertainty on the oil prices. So let's see how that pans out. And secondly, we'll watch out for HAL as well. We did see signs of recovery in a bunch of these PSUs on Friday. HAL saw some short positions being covered. Does that continue or not is the question that we'll get an answer to.
When have PSUs not been in focus on a given start of the day as well? Mangalam, thanks a lot for that.